Hello, my name is Kate Moore. I'm at the Camborne School of Mines in the University of Exeter. I'm here today to talk to you on behalf of myself and my colleague Dana Finch about the dissemination project of Earth for Earth. So this dissemination project is part of the larger impact project, which investigates mining solutions for the modern day in a whole systems context by embracing technological innovation and considering the position of mining in society. The impact project was funded by the European Commission. It is a Horizon 2020 research and innovation project under grant agreement number 730411. The dissemination activities of the impact project were designed over a year ago against a backdrop of heightened concern about climate change, biodiversity and biomass loss, and the habitability of planet Earth. Society is concerned that the changes made in industry, commerce, governance and leisure are too little, too late. And then the COVID-19 pandemic locked down society and pitched it into a global recession. The lockdown highlighted more than ever the interconnectedness of production, manufacturing and consumption, inequalities in governance, wealth and health, the reassurance found in community and family, the relative merits of altruism and self-interest. Nature had time to reassert itself over human-dominated environments, at least temporarily, and the air cleared in cities. People had time to pause and consider whether they faced an opportunity to start anew or whether they wanted to go back to business as usual and as soon as possible. Regardless, the pandemic shone a light on our consumption patterns. Access to the most precious of resources, such as food, medicine, and protective equipment, concerned us on a personal level. Of Earth for Earth, although designed a long time ago, is a project of the COVID-19 pandemic. It comprises an art exhibition coupled to a conference that managed to function with reduced attendance as countries were locking down one by one. The book was written in the first 2 months of lockdown, when the impacts of the virus loomed large. It is now being formatted for publication. The book describes opinions and issues surrounding human relations with Earth resources in as much of their complexity as we can depict through disparate voices. But it is also a time capsule of opinion, concern and reaction during the COVID-19 pandemic. Of Earth for Earth, as mentioned, began as an art exhibition to inspire debate about human interactions with the Earth and materials of the Earth. The Impact Project published an open call to engage professional artists in a dialogue about mining and the Earth more generally. The response was enthusiastic and gratifying, and it engaged with the suggested themes: mining for raw materials, telluric voids, the meaning of a mine, narratives of extraction, the conversation between self-material consumption and Earth. 6 exhibiting artists took the themes and created something uniquely questioning. The old engine house at the Heartlands historic mine site was the venue for the exhibition, complete with train tracks and bits of rusty iron lifting equipment hanging from the ceiling, such that the art space colluded to create a narrative beyond the sum of its parts. Heartlands is situated at Robinson's Shaft in Poole, within the Cornwall and West Devon Mining Landscape World Heritage Site. Since the exhibition ran concurrently with a technical conference, the artists conversed with scientists, social scientists, engineers and miners. The conversations about mining took as many twists and turns as an underground scene, many inspired by the narrative created in the exhibition and in the breaks in the conference itself. We were led into ever-deepening mental and visual labyrinths, discussing the poetics of underground space, the meaning of a mine from a variety of perspectives, the social cohesiveness possible in underground spaces that might vanish on the surface, the elements of danger, brotherhood, and identity. Some images have been selected from the exhibition to accompany this presentation. The first depicts an art installation by artist Jack Heartlands, which explored mining culture. With the cooperation of additional artists and writers, the conversations from the exhibition and conference coalesced into a book. In many ways, the theme meaning of the word mine encapsulates all, and it became a part of the book title. The book is arranged in 3 sections associated with the meaning of mine: of earth, for earth, on earth. The first meaning, the pronoun mine, is defined as belonging to me. In the book, it speaks to our sense of belonging to place, time, natural and cultural heritage, if these can indeed be separated. It speaks to our attachment to our planet, our environment, our homeland, the further landscapes we choose to access or seek to protect. It speaks to the way in which we try and assert our ownership over Earth, purchasing plots of land to call our own, using it for the sustenance on which our very lives depend, exploiting Earth materials. It speaks to the resources we use to add value or comfort to our existence and that enable us to express ourselves through the medium of art. It speaks to our consumption of Earth, our alteration of Earth, our appreciation of Earth. The section of Earth includes voices that speak of connection, individual or collective concern, recognition of our own failings in our relationship with Earth resources, and commitment to change. The sculpture Costing the Earth by artist Dan Pine explores consumption of raw materials. Depicted are quotes from the section of Earth. The quotes depict some of the varied viewpoints of the contributors. How do we connect spiritually, philosophically, and physically with the Earth? How do we use it? And what benefit do we derive from it? To quote Dan Pine further, Earth is everything. The second meaning of the word mine is the noun. The noun mine is defined as a deep hole for digging out coal, metals, etc., or a hidden deposit of explosive. It is a fixed thing, geologically grounded. The definitions initially bring to mind 2 different scenarios, the first of industry and commerce, the second of conflict. But both definitions are situated in place, and both infer the removal and/or destruction of Earth. Ore deposits are situated by the geological forces behind their creation. They cannot be moved out of the path of conflict. The right to mine ores may be coveted by adversaries, and the industrial output can be used to finance conflict, such that industrial mining operations can become contested places. But the mine does not need to be a negative space. It can be more than a telluric void, whether occupied or abandoned. It can be a place of regeneration, of healing. The section for Earth articulates connection to place, the positive expectations that arise from the promise of a mine, the negative experiences that can be associated with proximity to a mine, hope for what can be achieved in the regeneration or afterlife of a mine. Depicted is the multimedia installation by artist Heidi Flaxman, which is a multi-dimensional representation of landscape and its component materiality. Depicted are quotes from the section for Earth. The contributions describe how intrinsically we weave place narratives into our daily existence and how we respond to the physical places of extraction. Once extraction ends, the physical manifestations of those industrial activities create a legacy that is not simply positive or negative, but integral to community and consciousness. The third definition, the verb mine, is defined as to dig from a mine or to place explosive mines in. It encompasses the processes of removal, of extraction, of reshaping, of destruction. By utilization of explosive technology, mining spectacularly expanded in early modern history. Mining is entwined with innovation in wider industries, the use of exploration techniques developed for military purposes, or digital techniques for automation in recent megamines. Mining is an ancient activity that adapts and evolves, permeating society with the materials for industrial and economic development. Mining activity shapes our landscapes. It imbues those working in the mining sector with a sense of belonging to an industrial community with thousands of years of heritage. The echoes of time are articulated by many of the contributors to this book. We return to the locales of mining. We learn from the impacts of both past mining and poor practice in recent/active mining. We try to evolve, to apply better the methodologies that we currently have at our disposal, and to find new methodologies and ways of operating. The section Unearth describes experiences, learnings, and attitudes towards the action of removing material from the earth. More than that, it describes hope that we may unearth mechanisms to carve out a more sustainable relationship with the earth while maintaining access to the resources that will support the global population. The paintings and installation by Henrietta Simpson explores connections to mind and spiritual landscapes and the transport and use of materials extracted from them. The writings in the section Unearth are diverse and sometimes conflicted. They speak of very different experiences and reflect upon how much we can know and truly comprehend. But they also speak with a note of hope. There are descriptions of futuristic solutions that will be available in some decades' time to take us beyond current mining practices, and how the experience of miners and metallurgists can be applied to recycling of materials, to reduction of raw materials extraction. There are also statements that the technology exists now to extensively apply best practice and access more resources without recourse to techno-optimism, that solutions will materialize at some future juncture if socio-political frameworks can be created to enable them. In conclusion, there are recurring themes that arose from the art exhibition and from writing the book that inspire further consideration. We hope that our dissemination activities will inspire greater philosophical debate that will have greater impact than normal educational outreach means that involve explanation of technical results and project activities. Those themes that recur are as listed here. The voices of the mind debate where responsibility lies for consumption and production, and with whom. It considers the extracted materials as integral to all aspects of modern life. We considered global disparities in industrial ethics and attitudes of communities towards mining and of the mining industry towards communities. We considered mining as heritage for a sense of identity, or sometimes as an identity that is an invading force, displacing resident cultures. There is a debate about whether mining continues to be a destroyer of environments, or whether it operates as a potential key to remediation of damaged landscapes and a key to the development of sustainable technologies that can support the global environment far more than has been realized in the past. In this way, there is hope and there is action that a path forwards through dialogue and acceptance can be carved towards sustainable and responsible resource extraction for the betterment of all. This is not a forlorn hope. The actions in various projects show that is within our grasp, and it is for us to reach out and grasp those sustainable futures. The book is due for release in early autumn, and we gratefully acknowledge the funding of the European Commission and the Impact Project for engaging with these dissemination activities. I thank you for your time and attention.